Hello everyone and welcome back to the Big Analytics Query. Today we are discussing some of the new features on Power BI and Fabric. Helping us out with it, we have two guests, Charlotte and Demi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So why don't we start just diving straight in. What are some of the newly released features in Power BI and Fabric?
Well, one of the key features that's been a new update is Fabric IQ. So it's currently in preview, but it is a big new feature, and it sort of acts as like this sort of business intelligence layer on top of your data in Fabric. So obviously, as you know, at the moment, Fabric is a great sort of tool to bring all your systems together, bring your data in, transform, using the lakehouse.
Sort of that all-in-one place, isn't it?
Yeah, but at the moment, with AI as great as it is, it's you're asking questions on the tables, the columns, but you don't always, unless you specifically give it that context each time, you don't always get that business context. But with Fabric IQ, it sort of acts as that across your whole Fabric platform already. So you can define your business entities, your customers, your sales, you can define the relationships, and you can also define your business rules. So that's really helpful. So obviously, something like how do you define an active customer? That's sort of a business rule that can change across businesses, and it's not always direct from your data, from your columns. But if you have that business rule defined, which you can with Fabric IQ, that is then when you're using sort of AI agents, like data agents, and you're using sort of natural language to sort of query your data and get insights on your data, those business rules that you've defined with Fabric IQ, that's created this sort of ontology layer that it's called, can apply those business rules to the queries you're asking sort of your data agents, and that will then return the correct insights, and it acts as this sort of single source of the truth. Because if you don't, without sort of those business contexts, if you're querying different tables, if you're querying your sort of Power BI report, depending on how you prompt your AI, you can get sort of different responses. But if you have this Fabric IQ, this ontology layer now, you should apply those business contexts across all your Fabric domains, and then you should be able to get that single source of truth and get more reliable and helpful insights.
And so instead of depending on where you look and depending on who you ask within a business, there is that clear, concise definition that's applied everywhere.
Exactly. So and all analysts and all sort of even non-technical users querying the data, they don't need as much business context from the developers themselves that have created and transformed these tables. Those business rules should be there on the data already with Fabric IQ, and that querying it through those data agents, they can get that business context themselves.
So it sounds useful that suddenly it's somewhere that everyone can see rather than having to know the business context and know the intricate details of all of the data.
Exactly, it makes it so much easier for anyone to do simple queries on the data and know that they don't have to apply this business context themselves with all the prompts. It should be there on top of that data already, and sort of acts as a shift from Fabric just being this platform tool to a business intelligence tool as well.
So Demi, are there any features that you're excited about that are upcoming?
Yeah, so there's Copilot being introduced natively within the Power BI app. So that means that you can then access insights on the go, and it also means that you don't have to have sort of reports open. It can just sort of access whichever reports or data it has access to give you those insights. So a way that this could be useful is if, for example, an executive or a manager is going into a meeting, they can just quickly ask, like, what are our sales sort of numbers during this quarter? And yeah, they can get that quite instantly without having to sort of go through different dashboards to find the correct one. So this essentially just means that users can then get the data quickly, it's easier to access, and easier for users to sort of make those decisions quite quickly.
And there's been a lot of work on the Power BI mobile app, and so therefore it's not just in the desktop and in the service, but people can just have it available to them.
Yeah, exactly. Just wherever you're sort of going, you can have it on your phone.
And obviously, I'm sure there are lots of other features that we won't have time to talk about, all of them, as Power BI is constantly changing, as with Fabric. But are there any other ones that you want to just highlight briefly?
Yeah, so one of the new features is Spark real-time monitoring. So that's just sort of another monitoring sort of dashboard to give you those insights on your platform itself. So you notice any sort of redundancy issues and troubleshoot your platform a lot quicker.
Yeah, and there's also Translytical Task Flows. So that means that users can essentially, once they open a report, see that numbers are looking a bit iffy, they can then make those changes directly in the report. It then writes it back to the source. So yeah, they don't have to leave the report to make those changes or call upon someone else to make those data changes.
And with all of these features, I'm sure it depends which ones we're talking about, but what skill sets are needed? Would this be part of a normal Fabric engineer's kind of skill set, or are there more skills?
I think rather than sort of building upon that data engineering skill set, because a lot of it is AI driven, just having that sort of language to use with AI, for example, when you're prompting, just knowing how to ask sort of the questions and phrasing things, that is sort of a useful skill to have. Things like Microsoft certifications that you can do, like DP600, and just sort of any AI fundamentals sort of cert.
And then what about not just the engineers building, but also the users using these tools?
Anyone using these tools, it will affect, but obviously mostly in a very, very beneficial way. So sort of the end users, and we say like non-technical users, analysts, they can write, the simple queries themselves. They don't need to go back to the developers to get them to change fundamentals of the model just for those quick insights. And for the developer themselves, it then reduces their workload and they can focus on the more complex issues of data modeling that they have, and looking at the AI itself and robusting that out to make sure it's accurate and efficient.
We are now going to do a quiz round. So I've got some questions prepared all about the new features in Power BI and Fabric. So you've got buzzers. Why don't you test them out, Charlotte? Your buzzer is... And Demi? So it's fastest fingers first. And so what is one of the benefits of notebooks for data teams? Demi?
Interactive development.
Absolutely. Interactive development. You can also run code in small cells and see outputs instantly. Question 2. What layer gives Fabric its understanding of business concepts?
That'd be the ontology layer.
It's absolutely, as we've spoken about, 1-1. What is one of the new features which bridges insight and action in Power BI? Charlotte?
Translytical Task Flows.
Absolutely. Next question. Which is one of the updates that improves operational visibility?
Spark real-time monitoring.
What can you use in the Power BI app instead of typing questions on iOS? Charlotte?
Voice input.
Absolutely. 3-2. You ask for a report and want it generated and sent automatically. What handles this? Demi?
So a data agent in Fabric can generate the insights, and an operations agent would then sort of do those automated task flows. And
2 for 2. Perfect. What connects data across domains in Fabric IQ? All about the Charlotte.
The ontology layer connects your data, and it also creates the knowledge graph where you can see those relationships and transverse the relationships to.
Amazing. Yeah. I think that's 4-3. What is one of the problems that DAX UDFs solve?
Duplicated logic.
It does indeed. And finally, for the win, what powers a data agent's understanding of your data? Demi?
Fabric IQ.
It is indeed. Congratulations, a final win. And thank you very much for watching. If you've got any more questions about the new updates, then do write them in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for answering the questions and joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.